Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A quick reminder of our major stories now. Mobile police personnel in Borno State capital protest non-payment of special duty allowances for over 5 months. For the 6th time, court grants former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki bail. Judge criticizes security services treatment of ex-NSA. Death toll from Lagos tanker fire explosion at Otedola Bridge axis rises to 12. Thailand Naval Special Forces find all 12 missing boys and their football coach alive in caves after being lost for 9 days. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you. And on youtube.com/channelsweb, you can find our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from your respective stores. Besides giving you access to news and updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an Eyewitness feature that you can use to share those pictures, those videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Enter those images you sent to our Eyewitness portal. Let's begin with this video from Denro Ishashi area of Ogun State, showing this machine clearing the illegal dump site in their area. According to our Eyewitness reporter, residents reported to this after several calls to get the attention of the state government to clear the debris, which failed. He adds that the clearance became necessary because of the health risk it poses, and that place has been under watch of Channels TV for some time now. Our next image is from Unity Estate in Lambe area of Ogun State, showing this transformer and feeder which were bought by the community efforts since 2015, but yet to be powered. Our Eyewitness reporter alleges that all their efforts to get the Ikeja electricity to energize it is yet to yield any fruit after 3 years. Is calling on the management of the electricity company to do something fast about their plight. Our final image is from Benin, the Edo State capital, which shows the poor state of St. Saviour's Road in Benin City. Our Eyewitness reporter states that this flooded road results from poor drainage and bad conditions of the road due to abandonment by the state government. He bemoans the impact of this on their everyday life. He's calling on the government to fix this before it gets worse. We'd like to thank you for sending in these pictures, as we ask that you keep them coming, and do remember that you too can send news from around where you are. Now, it has been confirmed that 10 bodies were actually recovered from the scene of last Thursday's tanker explosion in Lagos, against the 9 earlier reported. The 10th was that of an infant, unfortunately so too, on that very dark Thursday. Well, these figures were given by the Lagos State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Jide Idris, who also adds that the death toll from the incident has risen to 12. Rescue officials had announced that 9 people died in the inferno when a fuel-laden tanker lost control along the Bagger axis of the metropolis. 54 vehicles were also burnt in the explosion.
Who are receiving treatment in some private hospitals. I think as at now, we know of 2. Unfortunately, I've just been told now one of them died. I wish to seek this opportunity to request that any private hospital in Lagos State who have patients from the accident should please provide such information to the ministry for proper collation. As required for proper identification of the bodies, the government will be conducting DNA forensic studies so that the right bodies can be handed over to the appropriate families for proper burial. These will entail obtaining samples from very close relations of these victims and matching these samples taken from the charred remains of the victims. In order for this to be done, we will be taking samples from relations in this order. 1, either the mother or the father of the victim. 2, the child of the victim. 3, a sibling of the victim. And 4, the uncle or aunt of the victim. These are the orders because for proper DNA analysis. And such people or relations should kindly go to the Lagos State DNA Forensic Center at 48 Broad Street, Lagos Island, opposite to CMS Bookshop in Lagos. The place will be open for DNA collection between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. from Monday to Friday every day.
As the 2019 elections approach, the media in Nigeria has been asked to adopt mechanisms capable of detecting and exposing fake news. This is the request made by the director of the BBC World Service Group, Mr. Jamie Angus. According to him, news organizations play a crucial role in the content their audience are exposed to. Hence, they need to be circumspect in their reportage. Mr. Angus was a guest on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily.
We can increase standards of education around media literacy. So in all parts of the world, but in West Africa, there's a particular problem about how do you educate young people to understand what is trustworthy and what is fake. So media literacy is really important, but also it's important for Nigeria as well as other countries in West Africa to be able to invest more in quality journalism, to partner with a big international organisation like the BBC. We're producing a programme with you guys, with Channels TV this year. So where international trusted media organisations can help make a difference by partnering with local news organisations, that's a really good thing as well. You've got elections coming up. There's a lot of concern about people using the elections to spread malicious stories. I think the BBC sees itself as playing a really big role next year in making sure that malicious fake news is not spread in the Nigerian elections, for example.
You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's quickly cross over now to our Abuja studios where Ibrahim Adra is standing by to take us through more stories. Ibrahim.
Hello, Kimba. Many thanks indeed. Well, lawmakers in the House of Representatives have queried the manner in which agencies of government make withdrawals from special funds like the Natural Resources Funds without clear guidelines. This came up during the investigative hearing by an ad hoc committee of the House into the utilization of the 350 billion naira Natural Fund. The lawmakers say the manner in which the funds are utilized contravenes public procurement and constitutional provisions. Our correspondent Larry Lassisi has that report.
Officials of the Ministry of Finance, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, and some other agencies of government here at an investigative hearing by an ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives. The committee is looking into the utilization of monies from some special funds such as the Natural Resources Fund. The committee turns to the first agency.
Sokoto River Basin, you are here because you are giving loan from Natural Resources Fund. That's why we invited you.
The agency, however, says the funds given to it was not a loan.
This, I said, the request is a special request to settle liabilities. Special request. Because the liabilities have accrued for non-payment of our budgetary releases.
The lawmakers expressed their concern over the manner funds are withdrawn from some of these accounts.
But the president will approve a loan, saying it's a loan to this agency. Instructions are just given for disbursement, and the agency tells you, we don't even know it's a loan, because there was no such communication to them. And I think this is an area, and this is an issue that we need to really address.
They are not loans to the agencies. They are taken from those special funds, and they're supposed to be paid back by the federal government.
We have calculated about 250 billion naira have been given to federal government, that is through Consolidated Revenue Fund, as a loan. We want you to tell us they are really loans so that we know the next step to follow.
Mr. Chairman, not loans in the strict sense of the word, because it's money owned by the government. It's money, that's if you accept that somebody can borrow money from himself.
The permanent secretary eventually pleads to be allowed to come back with clearer details. The lawmakers, however, insist that the Minister of Finance must appear before the committee at their next meeting on this matter. Lanre Lassisi, Channels Television News.
Detention centers need to be monitored to ensure compliance with human rights standards. as the actions of law enforcement personnel easily degenerate to rights violations. Now, that is the position of the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission during the flag-off ceremony of the 2018 audit of prisons and other detention centers at the Kuje prison in Abuja. According to him, previous audit exercises have resulted in some reforms in the prison service and the criminal justice administration system in general. Members of the National Assembly who were taking on a tour of the prison noted that poor power and water supply as well as overcrowding were some of the issues facing the inmates. Now to security matters. Alumni of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies believe President Muhammadu Buhari is right in whatever decision he takes concerning the security agencies in the country. The president of the Institute's Alumni Association, Kalilu Bolaji, was responding to questions from journalists at a press briefing on the recent killings in Plateau State. The association is demanding that the perpetrators of the killings be brought to justice, while urging the president to do whatever is necessary to stop further bloodshed in the country.
People at the head now should take responsibility for the happenings. That's first and foremost. But you see, what gladdens the heart is that the president has accepted in principle that something needs to be done from the normals that what they've been doing now. The commander-in-chief is the one that appointed them and is the one that knows the capabilities of the officers, you know, whether to change them or not. As far as we are concerned, the Nigerian securities are up to the task. The men and women that can do it, the responsibility rests with the chief of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, which is the president of the federation. So it is left to him to know who he wants to do the job. But in its entirety, we believe the Nigerian military is capable.
Time for a short break now, but when the news at 10 returns, leading investment bank Cardinal Stone Partners celebrates 10 years of business success in Nigeria, set to acquire $100 million private equity first funds. To join us again.